Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us again for this third conference of the day of the event Rethinking the Food and Beverage Industry. So before handing over to our speakers, again, I'd like to give you some technical details. So first of all, to communicate with us, don't hesitate to use the chat. You can let us know right away if you can hear us well, if you can see us well. I also encourage you to ask questions in the dedicated tab. It should be on the right or on the left of your screen. There is a dedicated questions tab so that the speakers can see your questions well and so that they can respond more easily as well. As a reminder, all the conference today are recorded and they will be available for replay starting today. So if you go back to the event page, you'll be able to watch the replays of the conferences. So our speakers today will be Ewelina Jaroszek, Director of Commercial Operations and QA at Italfoods, and Michael Chadwick, ERP Analyst at Fidelio. So Michael, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Aude. So again, good day, everyone. My name is Michael from Fidelio ERP. So I'm a business analyst for Fidelio for 17 years. Fidelio is a cloud-based solution ERP that is tailored for small and medium-sized businesses in the agri-food industry. So today with me, I have the chance and the privilege to have one of our customers, Ewelina, who will share her experience of her project of digital transformation. So the overview of the conference will be first, Ewelina is going to introduce herself and Italfoods. Then we will look over the strategy that they took, objective, the team, and the budget. The selection of Fidelio, so how it went down. Also, we're going to take a look at some of the processes automation that were put in place and the results. And also, Ewelina at the end will share what are the future projects for Italfoods. So, Ewelina, I'll leave it to you to introduce yourself and also introduce to us Italfoods.
Thank you, Michael. So my name is Ewelina. I'm a commercial operations director at Italfoods. Italfoods is a locally owned family business that serves Ottawa and Gatineau and surrounding areas for over 30 years. We focus on mainly distribution of finest imported and domestic products, specialty foods that are made to customer needs, homemade recipes of family recipes that obviously passed on to our owners, as well as the pretty much standard groceries, dairy, selection of meats and seafoods. Our major customers include Farm Boy, as you can see on the slides, as well as Metro, Costco, and GFS. We serve plenty of local pubs, restaurants, and delicatessen, and we also drop ship orders across all of the Canada with our partners.
Okay, and you also have like sister companies that are also managed under one single solution.
Correct. That's where Fidelio to play.
Great. So. Can you explain to us what were the challenges when you decided to move forward with such a project of implementing an integrated solution at Italfoods? So can you just share with us what were the challenges?
Of course. So first of all, last year we've been HACCP certified, and one of the main problems that we encountered was traceability reports. Most of the traceability was done with the pen and paper, which was very hard to track and report on. As also mentioned, we have also sister companies that were using 5 different databases. And because plenty of our employees, including myself, share responsibilities across different companies, consigning them into one database to manage so much easier. Many people here as well, obviously it's a family-owned business, so they've been in the company for years and they just didn't know what they can have. They only knew what they were working with, in this case, Sage, for years. Our employee retention was also quite high, just because there was no processes in place that could be followed and followed up on.
Okay.
And obviously, in terms of the inventory, we had a huge growth in the last 2 years, and keeping up with the inventory, making sure that we don't run out of the products and we supply our customers at all times, it was also a struggle. So that's our challenges that we're facing.
Okay, and also I think that having multiple databases and multiple Excel spreadsheet had problems with data corruption, and that was also an issue.
100%.
Okay, good. So let's talk now about the strategy, the objective that you had, the team also that you had to put in place, and the budget-wise, you know, what are we looking for in your project? So maybe you can also explain, like you just did earlier, the context of having such a growth that maybe was one of the key factors in moving forward with an ERP solution?
Absolutely, yes. So there are a couple of figures here. So we had to be honest with you, during the COVID, we really had a great sales, which is amazing. And from 2020 to 2021, we've seen over 30% growth in value, so in sales, and as well as the volumes. As you can see on the slides, we had to invest money in additional employees, not only within the warehouse, but also the drivers and new trucks. So obviously with the growth in volume, management of inventory became quite hard, especially that we were doing that with the pen and paper.
Okay.
And that's where when I joined Italfoods, that was in 2021, I very quickly realized that the company needs a new ERP system to keep that.
Okay, because the growth was there, so it meant at the time more Excel spreadsheet and more manual data entry, right?
Yes.
Okay. So speaking of, you know, the high-level strategic objective that you have, maybe you can share that with us. What were they and what they meant to you in the project?
Of course. So for our business controller, this keeping all of the information centralized, but as well as not only for the controller, but for me as well, keeping that information in one database, that was a kind of a key point. Moving between even a QuickBooks in one browser is almost impossible, and having multiple databases open at the same time just to perform simple activities was just time consuming and really exhausting. So that was one of the points where we were looking at different ERPs we wanted to focus on and make sure that setting up multiple companies within one database will be possible and they won't interfere with each other. Obviously, data security is another objective. We did face a data corruption back in May 2021, which obviously put a lot of strain on our inventory and financial analysis. And in general, just be more organized and establish certain processes that software will help us follow up on.
Okay, great. So you had a budget for the entire project,
Right.
including the warehouse management.
Yes.
So like you said, you were hired in 2021, but can you tell us about the other members of your team that you gathered to help you in achieving the implementation?
Yes. So we've shifted a few people around. I started with 5 key people that were helping me with decision making and also sharing how the business works right now and how they would like to improve it. One of those colleagues was the business development manager, who is actually also in charge of the warehouse right now. We've just recently also employed another person that helps me with the implementation of warehouse management system. He will be taking over that project completely and helping a team downstairs to make sure that they obviously are supported by the new processes that they've never faced before.
Okay. And you also had the, like you said earlier, your financial controller that was, I think,
Yes.
part of that team as well.
Yes, it's a key person, 100%, just to start with.
Yeah. So now we will talk about, you know, the selection process. So of course you had requirements, you contacted several ERP solutions.
Yes.
So maybe we will take a look at why did you select, and just from the beginning, what was your initial process, the guys that you contacted, and at the end, why you and your team selected Fidelio ERP?
There you go. So as any other business, I'm assuming, obviously, one of the first things that we wanted to do is move the database into a cloud. Right now we have 3 servers that we have to operate and maintain, and one of them actually expired in October 2022. So that immediately kind of tried me to go into a cloud-based software. In terms of the whole paperwork and pen and paper recording of either inventory or even printing invoices, obviously making sure that we can electronically send information to some of our customers that required us already at that point, that was the second most important thing. What made me choose Fidelio is it's really your interface and simplicity of using the database. So beyond all of those requirements that obviously were very, very important, what I've realized when I was going through the demos with other ERPs is that they are a little bit too advanced for our team, someone who has not used the ERP before. And very quickly, I realized how user-friendly your interface is, and sharing just with the key people in a team, the demos and how the application feels and looks, they were immediately like, oh my God, this is so easy. This is very intuitive. We love to use it, like we want it right now. So mainly that simplicity and interface was the major breakdown, and that's what I went with Fidelio. But obviously, you have everything else that any other ERP showed me as well. So the requirements on the technical side, no different to NetSuite, Oracle, or any other ERP for that matter.
Okay, and I think based on the the conversation also that we had, the fact that we were bringing to the table one single integrated solution made also a difference, because I think other vendors, they do have a complete solution, but sometimes it's requiring an add-on or something that an app that needs to be tied on. So was that also part of your decision making?
Absolutely, yes. So we were looking into having a company set up separately in a way that they don't have the parent-child relationship. And most of the ERPs absolutely, I agree with what you just said, and that was the key as well. We're offering us one head office location with obviously children that are kind of reporting to that head office location. And this is not what we wanted to do. We wanted to keep them separate and make sure that they are not really interfering each other. So they're not really mixing with each other. So that was 100% very important as well. And your local support. Local company supporting a local company and not huge US business. Also having contact with you guys, as you know, I went to the office and I visited you personally. That was also something that I was paying attention to, and it was very important.
Well, good, Ewelina. So also at the end of the day, of course, money matters. Like you said, that we have all of those benefits, user friendliness, user interface, and whatnot. But also, you measured everything all the way to I think you made a total cost of ownership analysis over 5 years, and maybe you want to share some data that you gathered with us today.
Yes, so absolutely. I did after a few demos, and obviously once I start getting a pricing from the vendors, I start doing a return on investment analysis, and over a course of 5 years, the cost savings with Fidelio would reach 70% against the NetSuite Oracle. And you guys obviously offered us a generous discount in terms of implementation, which put us at 15% as well of cost savings.
Okay, so that's also something sometimes that because of your experience, because you already did some previous implementations with other jobs that you had. So it's really important, I think, and it's a great slide that you mentioned, that you need to have like a total cost of ownership over more than 1 year, because at the end of the day, if you have multiple phases, well, you need to do the math with all of the data. So
Yes.
that's really a good advice for anyone that is watching this webinar.
Yes. Also, including, right, the brokers such as EDI partners, that also was a part of that, because that's a huge cost as well.
Yes, that's for sure. So with the experience that you had before and the experience that you had with us with Fidelio ERP, we ask you to share tips
Yes.
to help other small and medium-sized business owners in their ERP selection and in their project during the implementation. So can you share with us your kind of a more than top 5, but anyways.
7, yes. So I'm actually going to start from the bottom, because I think that's the most important one, is to understand how the software work and align those processes with what's happening at either at your warehouse or at your current company. We kind of knew from the beginning that some of our processes will change, and we're very happy to change them. But making sure that the rest of the team understands what the software can do down the road will help them open themselves for change and be more excited about what's coming, even though at the very beginning we know it's going to be hard. It's always hard. So that's very important. And I found that the more I'm going to show the team what's coming, maybe a year down the road or 3 months down the road, they feel a little bit more at ease, knowing that a lot of things that they're doing right now and they're occupying a lot of the time are actually going to be semi-automated or automated by Fidelio.
Okay.
Work in phases, 100% as well. I'm going to merge that with the second point of cleaning the data. We've approached the implementation slightly different. Most of the companies would take the data and migrate it to the new software. For us, the data had to be properly cleaned up. And when I'm saying clean up, I did set up every single customer, every single vendor, and every single product from scratch, just because we did not have a proper data in place, and also the data corruption that happened last year did not help with that. So starting from scratch took us a little bit longer than I wished to, but we worked in the phases, absolutely. And we did launch the smaller companies first before we went with Italfoods, the big one. That helped us also understand how the system is going to work and made any changes before it's too late.
Okay.
Testing, like with any other software implementation, we have to test every single process, practice, ask questions. Fidelio team was very supportive. I went outside of the standard implementation schedule, but they supported me all the way. And even though I wanted to jump from one subject to another, I got my answers. So I was very pleased with that. Practice team, absolutely. Before launching, I would say at least a month or a month and a half. I've heard stories here that, to be honest with you, I don't even know, maybe 8 years ago when they first implemented Sage, they've just been shown the software on the day of the launch, and they didn't have a chance to practice before, or no one really introduced them to the system, so they could understand how it works. So practicing with your team, Fidelio provides a demo database, and you can, if you're unsure of anything, I always go to the demo and I'll try to figure it out by myself. And if I can't find the answers in the documentation, then I'll ask and they show me. So, and I do the same with my team. Okay. And then following up closely, I'd say 8 weeks is probably minimum. I'll be definitely holding my team's hands for the first month, day to day, every single day, and then be available for the questions. They always have questions, and there's never a wrong question to be asked. So,
and like you said, the 2 things really are really important on all the tips that you gave. First is really talk about processes instead of talking about transactions. So because most of the time people are focusing on how do I create an invoice? How do so? But at the end of the day, like you said, Ewelina, it's really aligning processes. So that's really key, and that's I tip my hat off to you. It's really the right approach to have. And like you said, practice makes perfect. So going live without testing, without practicing, without proper training, it's you're looking for trouble.
Mistake,
So
absolutely.
that, yeah, okay,
We've been
great.
there.
So now we will share a couple of process automation and results. So I think that you highlighted for us like 3 key processes that you wanted to share. So one was reporting and BI. The second one was inventory management. And the third one is multi-company management. So let's start with the first one. So just explain the situation before and the results today with the system.
Of course. So before, a lot of reports were designed a long time ago, and kind of coded into Sage. So few of them you can choose some factors, such as you can change the vendor or you can change the dates, right? It's kind of a basics. But in order to perform a proper analysis of even product sales or follow any KPIs with your vendors or the customers, the data is not easily available in Sage. So not many people also know how to export the data to Excel and create a pivot tables. A lot of the reports, especially down the warehouse, it's printing a vendor reports with current inventory on hand and walking around and checking if that kind of agrees. And it's exactly the same with the in inventory management, so recording inventory. So that's something that's really taking a long time, and it's not accurate. And obviously with Fidelio, not only I love your dynamic filters, but I can have anything that I want. And to be honest with you, here the sky is the limit. I'm so excited about the reports. I started building a long time ago a list of the things that I want to make just for me. And I'm pretty sure that once the team is going to get used to what they already have, and that's a lot, they will start asking for more. Especially our owners are super excited about the dashboard because they can have those information available anytime they open an application. Where right now, in order to compare year-on-year sales, you have a 20 pages report that you have to generate for 1 year, and then 20 pages report from another year, and literally go like that. Just
Okay,
right.
so time saving, and because it's real time, so like you said in the PowerPoint slide, it's improving your decision making because you have access to the data and the right information right away.
Right away, yes.
So now, can you share about inventory management?
Yes, so that kind of goes together with reporting. Without appropriate reports in place, there's no visibility on what's physically in stock until you walk down to the warehouse and look at the location, right? But here with also the system that we're using right now, it's not 100% accurate because we have a limited number of locations we can assign to a product, and that's 1. And obviously, like any other warehouse, we have overstock inventory that's right now is tracked by people who are putting the inventory in that location and sticking a sticker to it. So 100% with Fidelio, where I can have multiple locations for the one item and record them and know where exactly they are when they arrived, who placed them there, what is the lot number of it, and how many I have in stock. And it's instant. That's also a huge time saving, but visibility to anyone that works in the company, and no one needs to go to the purchaser or the warehouse team to ask how many do we have, how many can I sell, right? So that's huge. With your reservation ability as well, that's another part that will instantly tell the team that someone is already placed an order for a a product that might not be fully available for the next customer. And then it's really between the salespeople to talk to each other and perhaps split it, right? Where now we don't really have visibility of those information.
Okay, okay, good. So like you said, by having, again, the information live, so customer satisfaction is going up, and also with better management, maybe number of SKUs to manage is going down. When you also did your data cleaning before
Correct.
going live.
So here with the number of SKUs, we did set up multiple SKUs for the same item when we would keep them in different locations, for instance, for tracking. So that number of SKUs will definitely change because now I can have a one item and I know it's the same item, just placed in the different locations.
Okay, good. And also your multi-company management. So like you said at the beginning of the webinar, multiple database, manually transferred data and all that. So can you explain the before and today on that topic?
So yes, we really used various instances of different databases to manage companies. At the end, I believe there was 5 instances of QuickBooks, Sage, and I don't really remember what was else. But on top of that, with the controller who is managing, obviously, cash flow, there's also a payroll system that needs to be managed, and that payroll system needs to be managed for every single company separately. So it was, I honestly, I wish that I was here, and she's doing an amazing job managing that. But right now, I can see a smile on her face when she just goes to Fidelio and she's like, oh my God, Ewelina, this is so easy. So yes, kudos to her for managing that before. It's definitely much easier because you can design a standard report and just change a company when you want to run trial balance or income statement and have them reported separately with a click of a button.
That's great. Thanks for your input on that. So results. So you talked about challenges earlier. Now maybe you can share other key factors or success that you had with the implementation.
So yes, here, in terms of labor retention, maybe not necessarily decrease the number of employees, but when we go into the busy periods like summer, we don't have to employ additional seasonal people. So that's definitely going to be helpful to manage the orders, especially when they are now automated through the EDI, right? There's no manual data entry for the large orders, and summer is usually our busiest period, as well as the Christmas time. Easy training, yes, everyone loves it. So far, like I've been living and dreaming Fidelio for the last couple of months, and I can see my team is doing the same. I also do want to cross-train people so that everyone knows how to do something in case someone doesn't show up to work. So right now, in the past, when a person was sick, and let's say there's a price change to do, there was only one person who knew how to do to perform price changes, which it's not a big deal in Fidelio because it's pretty much doing it itself with the formulas designed, but I would like to know more than one person how to perform certain things. With the pen and paper, 1,000,000% less repetitive tasks, especially when it comes to inventory. It can be available, you can see what it is and how it moves with a click of a button. It's amazing. I'm really mind blown with that. It's probably going to be my favorite thing to do. And yes, available on the go. No more remote access, no more literally access it from your phone if you have to. Our sales reps are definitely going to love that.
Yeah, sure. And with the Microsoft Azure platform, also your worries about loss of data, data corruption, paying maintenance for on-site servers. So that is now all gone.
It's gone. That's absolutely. I did not like managing those servers, and I never knew when they go into either catch fire or just simply die. There's so many cables. There were so many cables in that room. So yes, it's not my worry anymore. and I'm very pleased not to collect dust on those servers anymore.
So tell us now about Italfoods' future project with your digital transformation.
So yes, so our phase 2 will be WMS, and I hope we can start actually earlier than 2024. I'm already thinking about early summer or maybe even September. EDI to automate orders. We have a couple of bigger clients who are obviously set up with the EDI, but we also heard from smaller customers, pubs, restaurants, that they're also interested in EDI integration. I believe I can definitely transition about 30% of our customers to the EDI by the end of the year. So I'm super excited about that. I love your e-commerce module. I just need to justify its cost, and I'm hoping to do that within the next 2 years.
Yeah.
I could have it just right away. Bill of materials for private labels. What do they mean by that? Oh, yes, sorry, absolutely. So yes, recipes.
Yeah.
We have a manufacturing plant on site that creates our home recipes for our clients. So yes, creating a bill of materials for private labels, for not only private labels, but tracking them and knowing what we have changed over the course of the years and how the price has moved. It's something that hasn't been done ever.
Okay.
So our chef is super pumped about it. I know it takes a long time to set it up, but this is going to be a massive help for him moving forward. It's also easier then to create nutritional labels and specification sheets for our products when you have the recipe in place, in one system. So
yeah, that's great. So I'm going to do a really quick overview of the Fidelio dashboard. So as you can see, I'm using a web browser to navigate and operate the system. So it's totally cloud-based, browser-based. So while I'm logging in, so this is an example of a dashboard that you would have in the Fidelio. So multiple dashboards can be created, and so you have your drop-down list here to switch from one dashboard to the other. So it's pretty easy to see what's going on in many departments of the business. And those tiles and graphs are also updated automatically when you prompt your dashboard, and also a timer can be set to refresh the reports automatically for you. So the ones, the tiles up on top, it's more like what I call action KPIs. So it's a KPI that you want to track, maybe for a number or for dollar value, or maybe it's a transaction that you need to do, or maybe a transaction that you need to approve. Like for example, here you need to approve transfers between two branches of two companies. Here you have sales order on credit hold, and as you can see, the tiles can change colors when it's beginning to be critical or really critical. So to access the information, you double click. It's opening up the form, so you can drill down right from the tiles of your dashboard. So it's easy to access the information and perform the transactions. Going back now to General Manager to explain the graphs at the bottom part of your dashboard. So those graphs are more for long-term analysis. So maybe you want to do analysis on back orders, sales and margins, or your inventory value. So like Ewelina said in her presentation, it's multi-company, multi-warehouse. Then we have attributes to set categories within the inventory. And inside the inventory, then you will have, for example, a list of ingredients, your quantity, the cost, and again, you can drill down some more just by double clicking on the actual product sheet. And then you're gonna have the information about stock tracking by warehouse, what's available, what's free, what do you have on sale, what's reserved. And as you can see in Fidelio, when you drill down, unlike other web systems that will open up multiple web pages, you're still in the same web page. So you can open up multiple windows, lower them down, and continue more and more drill down as you move forward. So it's really easy to access the data from those KPIs. Other thing that Ewelina mentioned, so in your dashboard, you can also preset reports. So instead of going and selecting what you want to see, you can preset them. And as soon as you click on a report, it's going to build the report for you with the way you designed it. And this is the dynamic filter that Ewelina was talking about. So with this filter, I can filter anything that's in my report. So all the way to the final product to see what was my sales for that product. Is that a sale that I did for one customer? Also, if I type in one customer's name, I will have the sales for that customer. And then it's like a pivot table, so I can group by product. So now I have a sales analysis by customer, by product. And again, with the drill down features, so it's easy to double click and drill down some more directly from my reports. All those reports, also you can export them to Excel. And the way we do it is it's not like raw data that's going to be pushed out. So it will actually look exactly the same as you have your report in Fidelio. So if you have a graph, it's going to be there. If you have a specific cell format like a date, it will be there also. If you had a formula in your report, like an average or a sum, well, it will be there also. So you can export from Fidelio to Excel, but everywhere also in the system, you're gonna have an arrow going up, meaning that you can also upload data. So like Ewelina mentioned, doing a price change, a mass change in any file or to import data, you have your templates in Excel, you populate your fields, and then you upload, and that's it. So it's really pretty easy, pretty user-friendly, like Ewelina said. And last thing in that small overview for you guys is that we also designed a management screen for each of your processes. So for example, you want to know what needs to be paid to your vendors. You simply click on suppliers account management. So all of your suppliers will be there, all of the invoices that needs to be approved, the invoices that you need to pay based on due date and whatnot. So everything is there. And it's the same for all of your processes. So management of your purchases, you have your purchase suggestion that will show what needs to be bought today, what is the reason, what is the quantity. So everything is there. You have here the unprocessed quantity that it's going to tell you, is it for stock? Is it for production? Is it for a sales order or for stock? So again, really easy, really quick, really user-friendly. And I guess, like Ewelina said, that's why she selected at the end our solution because it's really easy to navigate and really easy to access data also. So that was really a quick overview I wanted to show to you guys. So going back to our PowerPoint now, you can download our guide for the KPIs in the food industry on our website. And now maybe we still have like a couple of minutes, like maybe 5-6 minutes to answer your questions. So, Aude, do we have questions in the audience?
So we don't have questions yet, so please don't hesitate to ask your questions in the dedicated tab, sorry, the questions tab on the side of your screen. I also just sent you the link to our KPI guide, which is on our website, if you want to download it. So please don't hesitate to ask your questions. We still have a few more minutes.
So while we're waiting on questions, I really want to thank you so much, Ewelina, for your time and your participation and sharing all of those insights and tips for business like yours. So it's really, really great that you took the time for us today. So we're really, really pleased.
Okay, so no questions so far.
That means that Ewelina did a great job.
Yes, everything was super clear.
Yeah.
So well, thank you everyone. Thank you to Ewelina and Michael as well. Thank you to all the attendees. Feel free to take our contact information so that you can send us your questions afterward if you have any. So we will take a break for lunch right now, and we will be back at 1 p.m. for the Notch conference called Streamline Your Payments, Overcoming Outstanding Receivables and Manual Processing in the Food Service Distribution. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.